Hey everyone, welcome to today's Tip Tuesday. Please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification button as well. And when we update future videos, you'll get notified and you can watch them at your own leisure. So today I've picked out another plant. It's not a Necaveria today. I've actually selected a Rhipsalis. Now the species is called cereuscula, and people commonly know this type of Rhipsalis as the coral cactus. So they're part of the cacti family, and if I show that up nice and close, pretty cool. And they got some, some long stems here. It's actually can be used or commonly used as a hanging plant. So once these stems start to get a little bit top heavy, they'll actually start to droop down and cascade. So if you're looking for a bit of an indoor plant and you still have a spot where it still receives a bit of direct sunlight, I would definitely recommend these guys here. They're quite beautiful. You can also use these guys under a pergola if you've got a little bit of a sunny spot there. That's fine. They don't like too much direct sunlight because they can burn fairly easy, especially in that afternoon sun in the middle of summer, which we're not in at the moment. And they don't like to be completely dry in between watering. So if a little bit of moisture still left in that pot, then it's good to give them another water. You don't want them to be bone dry. So by checking that, you can scratch at the top of the surface of your potting mix of your pot. You can use a barbecue skewer, and if it comes out bone dry, then you definitely need to give it a water. Some people use moisture meters. You can use that as well. Or if you want to, and your plant is quite small, it's not in a really large pot, you can actually tip it out and also check as well. So, growing season for these guys, they're actually a spring and summer grower. They'll also grow through parts of early autumn as well, while the temperatures are still nice and warm. So it's a good time, to still get some cuttings, some stem cuttings done, and that's the best way to propagate these guys, I find. And all I do is just grab your scissors and secateurs, very, very basic, and yeah, just get a small cutting like that. If your potting mix that you're going to put these cuttings in is moist, I would allow this cutting to callus for a couple of days, so let it air dry. If your potting mix is dry, that the cuttings are going, then you can put it straight in. That's fine. If you just want to make sure that there's no moisture in that potting mix, as it can cause rot. So very important to let them callus if you do have wet soil there. And with your watering, these guys don't like to be bone dry, as I said, so you can water them about once a week is fine. Even sometimes twice a week if it's really hot and they're drying out very quickly. That would be fine as well for them. Fertilizer, you can use just an organic fertilizer, so like your dynamic lifter, your blood and bone. Just make sure that you go around the plant and not throw the fertilizer in amongst the foliage, because it can cause burn. So very important to go on the outside, that's fine. If they're still in your growing season, when you've got them and you're wondering throughout the year what to do with your fertilizing, if it is growing season for them, you can use a slow release or a controlled release fertilizer, that is fine. You can also use liquid fertilizers too. So when these guys are dormant, I would recommend going more with the organic fertilizer that I mentioned before. You can also use compost, or I would use a liquid fertilizer. But when they're in their growing season, you can still get away with a liquid fertilizer if you want, but you can tend to go with more your slow release ones or controlled release fertilizers, and that's okay as well. With your lighting, as I said, yeah, they're great as an indoor plant. They don't like too much sun, so very important to give them like a morning sun spot. That's fine. Perfect under a pergola or inside in a nice sunny spot. That would be okay as well, and lots of good protection from the afternoon sun. Otherwise, I think I've mentioned everything. So I've mentioned the watering, propagation, the light. Yeah, as they're going into, as it's still fairly warm, if you've got one growing at home or any other Rhipsalis, then it's okay to still pot them up. So put them into the next size pot, that's fine. But if they are sleeping, just avoid that until they go back into growing season, just in case you have issues with rot from them being in their root system being too small for the size pot, so that the potting mix remains wet for too long, and that can cause them to rot there. So very important to do that through their growing season. Otherwise, that's it. Yeah. So hopefully, you like you know, if you're looking for something new to put in, especially as an indoor plant, Rhipsalis are fantastic, a great plant, nice and green. Highly recommend this one. Very low maintenance, don't need a lot at all, and very easy to look after, to care for, to propagate as well. So it's a great plant. But yeah, fantastic to give a go, especially if you're wanting something different to grow in your garden. Well, not your garden, in a pot, under pergola or inside. So yeah, have a great week, and we'll catch you the next Tuesday. See yous.